Have you ever woken up in the morning and asked yourself, what am I really living for? If life is all about suffering, what's the point? Why not just give up? If you've ever had thoughts like these, you're definitely not alone. In fact, millions of people across all cultures, whether in Asia, Europe, or especially in Western countries like the USA, struggling with these questions every day. The pressure to succeed, feelings of isolation, and a crisis of meaning are gripping young people everywhere. Let me share a story about a young Vietnamese-American woman named Linh. Linh was an outstanding student and landed a good job in New York. Yet every morning, she still woke up with a nameless emptiness inside. Just as the Buddha once described, life is suffering. But is that really all there is to it? Or is there something deeper behind this statement? Today, let's explore the Buddha's surprisingly profound answer and see how it applies to real life, not only in Asia, but also in the US and Europe. So we can discover what truly gives our lives meaning in the modern age. Are you ready? Don't take your eyes off the screen. This just might change the way you look at your own life. When people, especially young folks in the West, hear the Buddha say, life is suffering, dukkha, their first reaction is usually, wow, that's so negative. But dukkha doesn't just mean physical or emotional pain. It's also about that underlying sense of incompleteness, that nagging feeling that something's always missing, no matter how much you already have. Take it from some of the most successful Americans I've met. These are people with beautiful homes, luxury cars, and overflowing bank accounts, and yet they still feel lonely and lost. Or ask an executive in France after years of chasing achievements, why doesn't he feel truly happy? Because, just as the Buddha observed, humans are trapped in an endless cycle of desire. We get what we want and immediately start craving something new. Satisfaction always slips through our fingers. I've been there myself. Back when I was studying in Germany, my biggest goal was to win a scholarship. I truly believed that once I got it, I'd finally be happy. But only days after getting that long-awaited congratulatory email, I found myself worrying again about the future, about my job, about relationships. Turns out, happiness was just a sweet trap. It comes and goes in a flash. Just like Americans sometimes say, happiness is like a breeze. You feel it for a moment, and then it's gone. The Buddha emphasized this truth. Nothing is permanent. Happiness, too, is not eternal. This resonates even more in the US, where social media constantly pressures you to achieve more, be more, get more. We all get swept up in the "I'll be happy when" mindset, always chasing after the next thing and forgetting about the present. In Sweden, a country often called the happiest in the world, the depression rate is actually quite high. A Swedish friend once told me, I have everything, but life feels meaningless. I need a reason to keep going. He started reading Buddhist books and realized that meaning isn't found in grand achievements, but in small things, like cooking with his family or tending to the garden each day. In the US, I know a woman named Emily. After losing her mother to cancer, Emily fell into a deep crisis and even considered giving up on everything. But when she started volunteering with cancer support groups, she discovered new meaning. Helping others was also a way to heal herself. That's exactly what the Buddha taught. Meaning in life isn't about avoiding suffering, but about facing it and connecting compassionately with the suffering of ourselves and others. In France, A doctor named Jean told me, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I was exhausted and often thought about quitting. But every time I saw a patient recover and thank me with shining eyes, I realized that meaning doesn't come from money or prestige. It comes from being present and caring for others every single day. These stories perfectly illustrate what Buddhism emphasizes. Meaning is not some distant finish line you need to chase down. It's about the quality of your presence, the depth of your connection, and the compassion you bring into ordinary moments. One of the biggest misconceptions in the West and, now, even in Asia, is the obligation to find some grand life purpose. Slogans like "follow your passion" and "find your why" are everywhere on social media. But the reality is, the harder we search for purpose, the more empty, insecure, and self-critical we feel. Buddhism, on the other hand, teaches the opposite. Stop hunting for some big, dramatic goal. Live fully in each moment. Do small things with great care, whether it's washing dishes, taking care of your loved ones, or just listening to a friend who's having a rough time. As Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said, "The miracle is not to walk on water, but to walk mindfully on the green earth, to be awake with every step." I personally learned this lesson when volunteering in Italy. My assigned job was to wash dishes for hundreds of people, which at first felt tedious and meaningless. But once I let go of my expectations and started paying attention, the warmth of the water, the clinking of plates, the smiles of others around me, I realized that even the smallest tasks are meaningful if we are truly present. In major US cities like New York and Los Angeles, so many young people join mental health support groups or volunteer organizations because they've realized that by helping others overcome suffering, they also begin to heal their own wounds. In countries like Switzerland, Germany, and the Netherlands, social welfare policies put a strong focus on meaningful life. People are encouraged to join community projects and volunteer work, rather than obsessing solely over jobs and money. They've discovered that meaning doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It's created through connection and sharing. So, in the end, if you're still asking yourself, if life is suffering, then what's the point of living? The answer is, you don't need to go searching for some huge, epic purpose. Just be fully present in the here and now. Let compassion shape every moment. Meaning will come on its own, not through big achievements, but through the little acts of loving, listening, sharing, and empathizing. As long as you are here, as long as you're giving love, as long as you're living wholeheartedly, then no matter how much suffering there is, your life is still full of meaning. So, are you ready to try living one day fully present, not chasing, not judging, just savoring the ordinary beauty all around you? Give it a try and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dive conversations about Buddhism and the art of modern living. Wishing you a day of peace and meaning